Ask the Expert on Nutrisystem Live. I'm Linda, and I'm your host for tonight. And tonight's topic is eating out and staying on track. Tonight, we're talking to Stefano, who is an online support counselor at Nutrisystem. Welcome, Stefano.
Linda, thank you. Hello, guys, everybody out there. My name's Stefano, as Linda said. I'm here to help you guys out with your questions. I'm an online support counselor, and I've been with Nutrisystem for about 3 years now, so looking forward to answer any questions you guys have out there.
Yeah, so we're really excited that this is our first Ask the Expert, and we're actually doing it on a Nutrisystem Live. So let's talk about what to expect during this first time that we're doing this. What we want you to do is type your questions right there. And I'll be looking on my computer to see if I can get your questions, and I'll feed them to Stefano. And we also have a helper off camera who may be getting the questions as well. So you may hear a voice coming off camera. Anyway, so I don't see any questions coming in, but let me just ask you, why do you work at Nutrisystem? What drew you to be an online weight loss counselor? It's not a typical job.
It's not a typical job. Great question, and a lot of people actually ask me that. The main thing is I grew up playing sports, so through high school and college, and then after I was still playing sports, so naturally I was always around nutrition and fitness, staying fit and make sure I'm watching what I'm eating for sports performance. Throughout my years doing that, I just found so many people in the gyms trying to lose weight, so many people that were constantly struggling with their diets, and mainly I saw so many myths or so many people struggling, and I kind of just wanted to weed out all that misinformation people were having, so it led me to personal training, getting more into nutrition, and then eventually found this great job here at Nutrisystem, and I've been helping people ever since. So.
And you're stopping all the myth understandings.
Exactly. Right.
Myth understanding. Yes, well, you just made it up on the spot because that's what we do. Right. We're making it up as we go. So, Ryan, are we getting any questions? Do you see anything?
Not yet.
Okay, great. So what we can do is I know that you have a Q&A that you filled out that's on the leaf, but I wanted to ask you, what is something you say to people that are worried that they'll never get any healthier?
I mean, it's very easy to get discouraged, especially when, I know a lot of members on our program are constantly checking their weights every day, which, it's natural. Everybody does that, especially when you're trying to lose weight, if that's your goal. So mainly it's just, I let people know, it's an everyday battle. It's not going to be something that you're going to be doing for the short term. Make sure it's a lifestyle change. Look at it as if this is what I'll be doing the rest of my life, so that it seems like,
definitely,
it makes things a lot simpler. So I think a lot of members that are having problems on the program with keeping on track and everything, I just let them know that you're the captain of your own ship, pretty much.
Right. Definitely.
You have the power to do it. Just stay on it daily and keep moving forward.
Yeah, and don't let that one messed up meal mess up your whole week.
Exactly.
You can get right on track right afterwards.
And that's something that so many people are worried about. But I just constantly reminders. One little thing. If you're looking at the long term, 6 months down the road, one little thing's not going to derail you. So you're perfectly fine. Just keep going.
Well, that's great. Okay, so tonight's topic, just to keep everybody informed, tonight's topic is how to eat out without losing your way on your new weight loss journey. So, what can you help? What would you tell people that are? Because tonight is Cinco de Mayo.
Right.
So, what can you tell people about eating out? There's a lot of eating out going on tonight. So, what advice would you give to somebody who called and said, "Oh my gosh, I can't eat out"? What can you help them?
Yeah, definitely. The main thing is don't get discouraged, because a lot of people are going to be eating out for Cinco de Mayo tonight. A lot of people are going to be weighing in tomorrow morning.
Oh, yeah.
Some people might not be happy, some people might. But again, it's a short-term thing. I mean, sometimes you go out. I mean, realistically, you say, "Oh, I'm going to go out and have one thing here. I'm going to have, maybe one drink, or maybe just a little bit of, any type of carbohydrate meal." But realistically, it might lead to the next thing. You might have a little bit more, a little bit extra of something else, maybe 2 drinks versus 1. So, I mean, you might see that little fluctuation in the morning, but that's perfectly fine. That's another thing that will drop off. It's not a long-term thing, it's a short-term thing.
Right.
But when you are going out, just make sure, I think for drinks, the most important thing is when you're going out, I mean, Cinco de Mayo especially, there's always specialty drinks, and a lot of them are very sugary. A lot of them have a lot of salt.
Right.
So the main thing is you're really looking for calories. You want to go for light beverages. You don't want to go for anything crazy that's full of sugar or anything. So go for the lighter calorie drinks. I mean, if you're a beer drinker, go for a light beer versus the heavy beers. If you like mixed drinks with vodka, go with something that has a 0-calorie mixer or.
So is there like a lower calorie alcohol that everybody could get? Like like you say light beer. You're saying vodka with sugar-free drinks mixed in, stuff like that. So I guess those are. I realize that they're not optimal for losing weight, but so those types of things are actually out there where you could like choose something lower calorie.
Yeah, definitely. Alcohol is alcohol, so no matter what if you're getting an alcoholic beverage, it's still alcohol. It's mainly the extra stuff that's in those drinks that are causing the sugar,
right?
The extra calories.
Oh,
a margarita versus like a Bud Light, for example. So something like that. Yeah, there's big difference.
Yeah, there is a big difference there. Mm-hmm. So, are we getting questions?
We do have some.
Okay.
So Sammy wanted to know, what do you do if you're at an event with no healthy eating options?
Ooh, what do you do if you're at an event with no healthy eating options?
That's a great question. So if you're at an event with no healthy eating options, it's going to be pretty much based off of what you've had so far that day. If you're already caught up to your meal occasion, so for example, let's say it's dinner time, you've already had everything up to your afternoon snack, and you still have a lot to go for the night. Like you still have your dinner, dessert, maybe more vegetable servings. Then you could just pick something there if you want to just go ahead and skip your dinner for that evening. Right. Just pick something there that's a not so healthy option would maybe be like a sandwich with some type of lean meat or maybe lunch meat, something along those lines. And just go for a smaller portion.
And there's always that planning thing. So if you know you're going someplace that there aren't going to be great options, like you can sort of work it in, right? You can do that kind of thing, right?
Without a doubt. So if you're going somewhere already, then you can definitely work that in. Just try to see what's there first, because if something pops up and you just have to end up going to an event, that's one thing.
We've all been there where there was nothing but like bad food, and you're like, I want it all.
You just show up and it's kind of like, where'd this come from?
But you're right, showing restraint, doing the smaller portions, not denying yourself, maybe trying some of it. But is that what you're saying?
Yes, preparation is the key. If you know it's not going to be, there's not a lot of options there. Right. It's going to be unhealthy. Just try to, follow the rest of the day on course, and then set yourself up for that time. Maybe give yourself a little wiggle room just in case you have a little bit extra that you want to have.
Great advice. Yeah. What else you got?
So Alexa asked, I don't prefer to eat salads. So what other options do you recommend for eating healthy, especially out at restaurants?
Ooh, if you don't want a salad, what are you going to have?
Well, one thing you can definitely do is like a lean grilled chicken dish or a grilled lean meat dish. Like you could even do seafood. Majority of the seafood dishes are going to be good options because they usually come very light. It's just some type of light fish serving with vegetables, which you might not like. So if you don't like the vegetables, you can just ask for a side of sweet potato or a regular potato. You can even do rice, which people think carbs and rice not good. Right. But if you do a small serving of rice, you're good. You can do even a light serving of pasta on the side. So I just try to pretty much plan out your day, plan out your plate so that it's majority protein. If you're not into vegetables, go with a carbohydrate serving, but a smaller portion would be equivalent to a Nutrisystem.
More questions?
Well, Tim asked a kind of a funny question. He said, Marie lost 50, I lost 62. Why am I not on your commercials?
Well.
Can you sing, Tim?
That's a good one. So we do actually have a contest going on right now called Nutristar, where if people have specific weight loss goals that they've reached, so that's actually on our Facebook page. So if you see that, and if you've lost 62 pounds, you're probably in a great category to be considered for our commercial. So you submit your story, and it's right out there. So check it out.
Yeah, congratulations as well, Tim. 60 pounds.
Absolutely, 60 pounds is amazing.
That's awesome.
Carolyn asked, how long can you stay on this diet? Is it healthy to stay on it even after you've reached your weight loss goal? I love the foods and prefer eating it over normal foods. I don't feel hunger. After going back to normal food, I feel hungry all the time.
Okay. Great question.
That is a great question.
Yeah, you definitely can. I mean, just because you reach goal, you don't have to stop eating the foods. I let members know that once they do reach their goal, you can still order full programs. You can order transition plans. You can order a la carte. I mean, you can work these into your own diet, or you can have your own diet work into our foods. I mean, as long as you are staying, around your maintenance level, then you're perfectly fine with maintenance. I mean, there's really not a set time you're supposed to be on the program or off the program. It's just...
and there's a little bit of security there with, I know this works for me, and I know that if I don't continue to do this, I might gain more weight. Plus, I like the food and I like the convenience, so there's nothing wrong with all that.
Yeah, exactly. And if you really think about it, I mean, how many years were a lot of people eating the same pastas?
It's true. How long did you eat all that bad food?
Right,
yeah. Do you have another question? Because if not, we have. What do you wish that something you wish that every person who called you, what do you wish they knew right before they called you?
Carbs are your friend. They're not a bad thing.
Carbs are your friend.
Yeah, I mean, I wish people knew how you can use them for so many different things. I mean, they're your main source of energy in the body. I mean, it can help fuel your workouts. It can help fuel your day for energy. It actually can help you lose weight versus cutting carbs out and then having a bounce back. I mean, carbohydrates, it's a macronutrient for a reason. So, I mean, your fats, proteins, and carbohydrates are 3 essential things that you need in your diet.
Macronutrient. I like it. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Is that like the words that they teach you as far as your training?
Definitely.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I love it. So today is a celebration day, holidays, birthdays, celebrations like this. So how do you work the celebrations, and how do you work that in? Because I mean, you're into your fitness and you try to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So how do you make sure that during these types of times that you're staying healthy? I mean, that it's a challenge for all of us. So why don't you share with us what you do?
Well, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't tricky. It's more, going back to the whole preparation thing. I try to make sure that leading up to a day like a holiday or a Cinco de Mayo, whatever you're celebrating, a birthday, you just know in advance that, this is my plan for the day. So if you're going with the day, then the day will just take you its way, So try to plan it at least a few days in advance if it's an occasion. What I like to do, I have my day planned out, and then I also give myself a cushion just in case I am not able to, if I want to partake in whatever is available, then I'll do that. If not, I try to plan everything else out so that I'm staying on track. And my whole mentality that day is make sure I'm just focusing on the celebration of the day, not the food.
Right, because too often we just get around, we have celebrations and they become about food rather than about the celebration. So really focus on the celebration portion of that, not the...
More about the people, the event, the celebration of what you're celebrating.
Yep.
Obviously, the food's going to be there, so if it's there, you partake. Feel free. Just hopefully up to that point, you've stayed on track the whole day, so you can feel good about what you're deciding on having.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, what is the one tip that you can give to somebody that is losing weight? So, what's a tip that that you would call when they call? You would say this is just free advice.
Yeah. I like to make sure that I always ask, me personally, I always ask if there's anything they feel that they can do better.
Right.
And if there's anything there, that can be your main focus. But one tip I always give is to try to make sure that every week you're picking one thing that you're focusing on. That's going to help you in the long term. So if it's more activity, more vegetables, more hydration, higher water intake, something like that. But I always try to figure out, there's always usually one thing that people can work on in their diet. So
if that's got your focus for this week, then you're focusing on trying to stay healthy and doing that one thing.
Exactly.
Because it's hard to do a lot of things at the same time, because while you're focusing on your water, you forgot that you were supposed to eat more vegetables.
Right. And so the next week you're focused on your vegetables, and the following week there's something else. So.
Right. Yeah. So it actually kind of mixes it up a little bit too. So you're not like, always I got to drink the water. Right. You get to have that sort of variety. Hey, this week I'm going to focus on exercising more. The week after, and then it becomes a little bit more rote, where you're trying to do that. You've incorporated the exercise. You've incorporated the extra vegetables.
Right.
So. Question:
yes.
How do you work the water in? Because I know this is such a big question and it's not the most lovely conversation to have. But helping when you're drinking a lot of water, it helps you lose weight.
Yeah, without a doubt. I actually, myself, I used to struggle with fluids. There would be days where it would hit 5, 6 o'clock, and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm not sure I had any water today. Like, it was just, it's kind of like a mindfulness thing.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing to do is have a water bottle or, any type of thing where you can carry your water in, pretty much.
Yeah.
And just make sure every day you're just carrying it with you. Even if you're not drinking from it, you still have it in mind. You still have it with you.
Right.
And you'll find yourself randomly just drinking out of it out of habit.
Right, just because it's there.
Exactly. Next thing you know, you're 32 ounces in for the day. Next day you're 40 ounces. But mainly that, it's something that slips. It's very easy to slip out of your mind throughout the day. So just keep mindfulness of it, and water bottles. I think that's the best thing you can do.
I know, but you can actually probably walk around where you work and just ask people randomly if they're thirsty, or if they
Right.
could, and everybody's like, yeah, I could take a drink of water.
Right.
Like almost at any given time, I could take a sip of water, just
Right.
because. I mean, I'm not always thinking about it, but if somebody came up and said, hey, you want
Right.
some water, I would have been like,
Now that I think about it, I'm pretty thirsty.
yeah. So I mean, you don't always think about the dehydration. You don't think about that kind of stuff, but it can aid in weight loss, and it's one of those things we talk about, and then kind of in the background, everybody's like, I can't really work that much. It actually does.
Exactly. And it's one of the leaders for cravings too.
Oh, really?
A lot of the times, if you have cravings or just ran without a day, you're a little bit hungrier, and I just ate. You're thinking, it's like, oh, check my water intake.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, you can just drink 8 to 16 ounces of water, and within 5 minutes, you just feel great, and
Wow.
the hunger go. Yeah.
So Beth wanted to know, workouts are so hard to fit into my schedule. What are the best quick workouts to help be successful?
I think, I'm not sure if many people know what Tabata training is, but it's pretty much high intensity, short duration exercise. So if you're on a crunch, you have 10 to 15 minutes, or even 5 minutes is really all you need. Try to pick something, whether it's a brisk walk outside, you're trying to increase your speed of getting from A to B with walking, or a jog or a run. Try to go for a higher intensity and a shorter duration of rest between. So you
Tabata. Can you spell it?
Tabata.
Because I've never heard of it. That's interesting.
Yeah, you can try that. I mean, I know a lot of people that are on time crunches do that for once a day. You can do it twice a day, 3 times a day. It's something you can break up into 3 different workouts. So you could do that. If you have time, if you're just starting exercising, then you can go for, I like to take walks around the building on my breaks.
Right.
So you could do a 10-minute walk around your building if you're at work, or if you're out at the house, you can turn even cleaning your house into a workout.
Sure can.
Do 1 burpee for every every time you go up or down the steps, do a burpee, something like that. But you can fit it in the morning right when you wake up. If you have any break during the day, try to do it, or later in the night.
And if you do watch TV, so and if you still have commercials, we would do sit-ups and push-ups during the commercial. So if you've got a commercial break, or while Netflix is loading the next, you just get on and do 10 quick push-ups, and then you're still there. Yes, I'm still there. But also taking the stairs, that kind of stuff, and sitting at your desk. There's some exercising that you can do. If you're at your desk, you lift your legs, you can do stretches, that kind of stuff. It will definitely help you feel a little bit more energized throughout the day. But it's tough to get that workout in. I mean, when we're thinking about, trying to be healthier and trying to fit in extra things into the day, I got to do this, I've got to do that. It's difficult to make everything a priority.
It definitely is. And activity is one thing that's very, one of the last things on our mind for the day. So I think mainly, try to start out small. I mean, if you're not used to working out, I wouldn't just go straight for an hour if workouts.
And you should always check with your doctor first.
Yeah, definitely.
But you could try to park as far as you can from your building.
Exactly.
We have a pretty far hike from our parking lot, so you could always park really far if you wanted and get an extra half a mile.
Park far away, take the stairs.
Yep.
Play a game with yourself, as Linda was saying. I mean, if you're watching TV, every commercial, do 5 squats. Or walk around, make a lap. Do 5 laps around the coffee table. Something like that.
I know a lot of people don't like it, don't love fitness trackers, but I love my fitness tracker because if I'm sitting for longer than an hour, it taps me and says, hello, you need to stand up. So I love that because I'm like, okay, I got to get up and go do something because I've been sitting down for too long. So sometimes I'm still in the middle of doing something, so I'll stand up and I'll still be typing because I want to get up and I want to get that extra movement. I get ranked on how many hours I stand per day. So I want to get that hour in.
That's awesome.
It is. It's good.
Yeah, it's just that. Yeah.
So again, do we have more questions, Ryan?
Yeah, so Alexis has a kind of a plateauish type of question. She said, I work out and have a very active job. I've been on this for a month and a half and haven't lost weight for the last 2 weeks. I lost 19 pounds in the first month and now nothing. Anything I should try to jumpstart it again?
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is going to be always review your tracker. Make sure that you're getting all of your listed grocery additions in with your entrees. That's going to ensure that you're getting enough calories, especially since you're exercising. You're going to need a little bit more than normal. So if you're under eating and you're overdoing it with your exercises, that's one thing that could slow down your weight loss. So first thing you want to do is review your tracker, make sure you're getting all of your foods in. So whether it's your power tools, smart carbs, vegetables, entrees, make sure that's all in there. That's the key. Second thing you can do is, I mean, if you just started recently resistance training, then I think it's very important that you track body fat or inches, because that's going to be pretty important. A lot of the times it's very deceiving.
Agree.
Yeah. You could be losing inches in body fat and it doesn't look like you're losing weight because you're probably maintaining, if not building, a little bit of lean muscle.
Absolutely, yeah.
So check that too. If you are over a month into the program, you're doing all those things and your workouts have been something you've been doing for a while and you're getting all your foods in, I honestly think that adding one more power fuel, one more smart carb, mix it in there for a week, just try to jumpstart your metabolism there. Try that out for 7 days in a row, see how that goes. And I think the best time to do that, since you're exercising, is immediately after workout. So do one power fuel and one smart carb post-workout. It'll help out with your recovery and it'll also help out with getting a little bit more calories to support your exercise.
Good suggestions. I like that.
Yeah, that's good. So Lynn has a question kind of about the weight loss a little bit. She asks, is it normal to lose one pound per week except for the very first week? What can I do to maybe change it up a little bit, stuff like that?
It definitely is normal, especially if you're, depending on your weight too. Because remember, especially when you're starting out, it'll depend on what your previous diet was like. But starting out, usually your first week or two, it's a little bit higher average in a week. And then after that, it goes down to 1 to 2 pounds per week. But if you're the closer you get to your goal weight and the lighter you are, then, the 1 pound could actually be a lot more a percentage of your weight than somebody that has more to lose.
Right.
So make sure you're keeping track of that. If you're only 150 pounds, and 1 pound is actually great weekly. I mean, that's fantastic. So it's definitely normal. The average rate of weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds per week on the program. So if you're in that 1 to 2 pound per week range, you're doing fine. If you have one slow week, make sure you monitor your second week. Usually there's a bounce back, and if you bounce back the week after, then you're still on track. If you have 2 weeks in a row of no weight loss or under a pound, then something, we can definitely look at your tracker and see what we can do differently.
But you always want it to go faster.
Yeah.
So that 1 pound a week, even though you're losing, I think, I understand where you're at, where you're just like, I just want to lose could it just be perhaps a pound and a half or 2 pounds a week? So I totally understand that. But it's a journey, not a race. We're walking there, we're not running there.
Right.
And this is a healthy way to get there. So I mean, it's go easy, but go. Yeah. So you're doing it, but it's
definitely
easy.
Yeah. It's a marathon.
It is a marathon.
So.
That's the one. It's missing that
Marathon.
colloquialism. It's a marathon.
So Carolyn again has come back with another question and asked, can you drink the shakes in place of breakfast and lunch for maintenance?
For maintenance, you definitely could. The shakes, the only one that would really come close would be the Nutri-Crush, just because it's one power fuel and one smart carb. It has a little bit more calories, it's a little bit more fiber. But mainly when you're in maintenance, I would still recommend using the shakes as a snack or an addition. Because when you're doing maintenance, it's always, if you can try to get actual food in, it'll help out with that. It takes longer to digest, which helps out with hunger, helps out with to make sure you're getting all your macros in too. But I think mainly food is number one. Use the shakes as a complimentary item. But occasionally if you're on the run or you need to have a shake for breakfast or for lunch, you could use the Nutri-Crush. And same thing, it's like grabbing a to-go bar. It's kind of the same thing. Yeah. So I do the same myself. Crunch time in the morning, I'll grab a protein bar or make a protein shake in a blender, and then that's my breakfast. But mainly if I can, and what you should do also is if you can get a full meal in for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, try to do that.
Right, so we are getting to the end of our Ask the Expert segment. So we have like a minute or two left. So I just wanted to tell Stefano, thank you so much for being here. And thank you guys for all of your great questions. We had a great time hearing from all of you. And we learned some great tips and tricks, and we learned that
macronutrients.
Macronutrients. Who knew, right?
Yeah,
so we will. And so we learned some great things about exercise. So we're so happy that you guys joined us on our first Ask the Expert on Nutrisystem Live. And we'll do this again in 2 weeks. So we'll see you then. So go and get them, and you can count on us to do the same. Thanks. And we'll see you.